Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to call the Common Council meeting to order. I will ask our clerk to call the roll.
Alderperson Reinke.
Here.
Rote.
Here.
Stefanski.
Here.
Tenorio.
Here.
Vitale.
Here.
Weigel.
Excused.
Grisham. Here. Haas.
Here.
Keen. Here. Lysick.
Here.
9 present, 1 excused.
A quorum is present. Before we do the pledge, I just want to ask everybody in the audience, whether you're speaking to us or everybody up here speaking outwards, to make sure, because we are wearing masks and you can take them off when you speak, but please try to speak into your microphone just to make sure that everybody can hear what is being said and we don't have to ask for people to repeat things. I will try to do that myself, but I just wanted to mention that. And now, if you are able, please rise and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance, which will be led by Alderperson Reinke.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we will move on to item D on our agendas. We have 3 items for public hearing this evening. I will ask the clerk to read public hearing number 1.
Resolution relative to determination of an application for a special use permit for B&E Kitchen, a proposed shared kitchen and event space to be located at 5901 West Beloit Road.
Thank you. Mr. Scher?
Thank you, Mayor. First item is for a shared kitchen and event space at 5901 Beloit, formerly Scardina's Bakery. It's also a mixed-use property with a apartment on the very east end on 59th Street, as well as commercial space along Beloit Road. The intent is indicated as a shared kitchen with to be rented for, and also a party room or gathering space for small parties, corporate events, and so on. And it can be rented out by various groups or community members for a fee. The zoning is C2 neighborhood commercial, and as a mixed-use building or as a shared kitchen and assembly hall, it does require a special use. The hours of operation are Sunday through Thursday from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m., and then a little bit more flexible on Fridays and Saturdays from 7 a.m. to midnight. This illustration on the left here gives you a little bit of an idea of the overall property, which is triangular in shape. The residential portion is on the left. That's where it's currently owner-occupied. There's a center unoccupied future commercial space that could be leased out. But the area, the subject for this evening is highlighted in red, and it's basically split in two. 4,000 square feet in total area for the overall lease space, about 2,000 square feet of which is for the kitchen, and another 2,000 square feet for the gathering or assembly hall. 26 parking stalls are required. 10 are provided on site, which is fairly consistent for the traditional east side of West Allis. There's not a lot of parking to begin with, but the density of the built environment is much stronger. This is a street view looking at the property from Beloit Road, looking south, and the highlighted area in red is the subject space for B&E Kitchen. As far as exterior changes, what's taking place right now are some updates to the patio area in front of the building, and then in the future, and as recommended by the Plan Commission, some additional landscaping is going to be added both along the streetscape here along Beloit Road, some raised planters, possibly some flower pots and so on, just to brighten it up. There's also the opportunity for outdoor seating, bistro tables and umbrella with chairs. In the future, that central tenant space is highlighted in blue here. The owners also submitted some general, very basic plans for what could be in that center unoccupied tenant space. That'll be coming back to Plan Commission in the future, but I just wanted to give you a little foreshadowing that the owner is thinking about freshening up that portion of the building as well. So Planning Commission has recommended approval at the August 26th Planning Commission, and to date I've received no objections.
Thank you very much for the presentation. Are there any questions from the members of the Common Council on this
Mr. Mayor.
item? Alderman Rote, and then Alderman Vitale.
Thank you, Mayor. Steve, if I may, is B&E, are they going to be the owners as well of the building or tenants?
Yes, they're currently the owners of the building.
And are they looking for a liquor license?
Not yet. They've indicated that they want to get the building, the space, up and running, and they may come back to the council in the near future for a liquor license. But they are aware they will need a liquor license if they intend to go that route. But for the time being, it's a maybe or an eventually.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Rote. Alderman Vitale?
Mr. Mayor, Mr. Shear, I'm not I'm in favor of the application for the special use. I have no problem with that. But we did experience, about a month ago or so, the back of the building was some repair garage. They were doing some cars repairs. I don't know if it was based on the complaints. Then the police department, I believe it did visit the location just as well. And there was some discrepancy in regard the auto repair shop, to me, which was not very appropriate, because we never really issue any permits or applications for that type of, which is not really the area for anyway, the site. So you're aware of that? I mean,
I'm not aware of any such complaints for this property. I know there have been some others nearby. Maybe there were some issues here at this property that I'm unaware of, but the property, as far as we understand from working with the current ownership, is that auto repair is not part of their business operation. It's just purely going to be, it's an owner-occupied residence with a commercial kitchen and event space, and then in the future they'd come back for filling this unoccupied commercial space at some point down the road. But no auto repair as far as
that's
I
what we
know.
want to make sure, because I know it's not permitted anyway at this time, but, that's what really occurred, so, in beginning, so, I mean, that's one of the, questions, based on the, neighborly, complaints, so that's why we have to be, make sure they're aware of that, and they can just start doing car repairs without the, the acknowledgement of the city, not knowing what's going on. So if they apply for this specific special permit, well, then they should follow that, not doing something else in the back, that's what we really want to make sure,
Correct,
Thank you.
right.
Mr. Mayor,
Are you done, Alderman Vitale?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Alderperson Grisham?
just for clarity, Steve, this is Gardenia's Bakery. Just for that clarity, how long has that space been vacant?
I may need the owner's help on this because I'm kind of guessing at this point, but I'm going to say probably since maybe about 2015 or 16.
Okay, so we're
Yeah,
looking at a number of years.
yeah.
with,
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been quite some time. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Any other questions from the members of the Common Council? Seeing none, are there any questions or comments from the members of the audience? If you could please give us your name and address for the record.
My name is Carlos Beltran, and my address is 5901 West Beloit Road. I'm the owner of the building, and I just wanted to kind of offer some clarity on your question. And so I was not aware that it had gotten to the level that it was like a nuisance or that it was a complaint. Last year, we did have a tenant that wanted to have a auto repair shop in the garage and incorporate it into the bakery area. So we signed a tentative lease with him. We gave him like 6 months to get the building up and going, to apply for occupancy, to do his due process. 2 to 3 months into it, he started getting shipments to the garage. He posted, I think even if you Google our address right now, it shows up as an auto repair shop that he listed on Google. But he's no longer, I mean, we terminated that lease 3 months into the agreement. And so, yeah, there's no one back there anymore. And that was only for maybe September to like December of last year was when that agreement was going on. So, yeah, I just wanted to clarify that.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
Anybody else in the audience have questions on public hearing number 1? Okay, seeing none, we will close public hearing number 1. And I will ask the clerk to read public hearing number 2.
Resolution relative to determination of an application for a special use permit for West Alice Masonic Lodge, a proposed place of assembly to be located at 11037 West Oklahoma Avenue.
Thank you. Mr. Scher?
Thank you, Mayor. As many probably recall, the Masons were located on 75th and National. They sold that building about a year ago, and to a church, and they've since found another building on 110th in Oklahoma that they're interested in purchasing from the existing owner, and they'll be using that as their lodge or clubhouse, as well as office and some meeting rooms. The property is zoned C4 Regional Commercial, and an assembly hall is required to have a special use. There's going to be about 10 to 15 lodge members, which is typically probably the max at any one given time, typically. And the hours of operation are the first and third Fridays from 6 to 10 p.m., the second and fourth Mondays from 6 to 10 p.m., first and third Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., and the second and fourth Tuesdays from 6 to 10. That's the plan. And as far as the location, it's almost a half-acre site, a 4,100 square foot building, and they're, again, converting the former retail store to a club. They have some site improvements in mind, including resurfacing the parking lot, updating and infilling the landscaping, and then rather extensive interior remodel with new bathrooms and just designing to fit their needs with the lodge inside. 13 parking spaces are required and 14 are provided on the site itself. They also have an agreement with the abutting property owner for an additional, I believe, 15 or so parking stalls. So I don't think parking is going to be an issue at this site, and they have some backup if needed. This is just a quick and general view of the building with some of the existing landscaping areas that are going to be infilled with some additional landscaping, mainly along the frontage of Oklahoma on the top of the page, and there's some foundation plantings on the north side of the building and on the west perimeter of the site, as well as the east foundation of the building. The architectural elevation, really there aren't going to be any exterior changes to the building, with the exception of they've removed the large compass, the Mason's compass, from the property they once owned on 75th and National. They want to add that architectural feature on the north elevation of the new building, or their new location. And then the lower slide is just showing the proposed floor plan layout with, you can see where the lodge room is, and the boardroom and dining room and so on, some offices. So Planning Commission has recommended approval on August 26th, and we've received no objections to date.
Thank you. Are there any questions from the Common Council on public hearing number 2? Alderman Stefanski.
Quick question, Steve. Is the building that they're going into, is that a tax entity for the city?
Yes. Yeah.
And if they move into here, does that make it non-taxable entity?
That's correct. Yeah, they're a tax-exempt organization. Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Thank you. Any other questions from the members of the
Devine?
Common Council? Alderman Rote.
And this may be towards one of the Masons, I see a few here. If you can't answer, Steve, why did you move out of the old place?
David Secor. We moved out of the old.
Your name?
My name's David Secor. We moved out of our old place due to handicap restrictions. We moved out of our old building due to handicap restrictions because of some of our members. We had 2 stories. We didn't really want to put an elevator in, so that's one of the reasons we're looking at a 1-story facility.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions or comments from the council? Seeing none, are there any questions or comments from the members of the audience on public hearing number 2? Okay, seeing none, we will close our second public hearing, and I will ask the clerk to read public hearing number 3.
Resolution relative to determination of an application for a special use permit for Festival Foods, a proposed large retail development grocery store to be located at 11111 West Greenfield Avenue.
Thank you. Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mayor. This site has historically been a grocery store of sorts, Cub, Jewel Osco, a Pick and Save, and Festival is taken an interest and has an offer to purchase, I believe has purchased this building at 111 West Greenfield. The site is Zone C3 with a PDD, or Planned Development District overlay, and as part of the conditions of approval of the Plan Commission, that PDD overlay is no longer needed, so it'll be removed at a future date. But the underlying zoning is Zone C3 Community Commercial, which does allow for large development retail sites with a special use permit. It's an 8-acre site, formerly vacant, Pick and Save. The overall building is about 93,000 square feet. They're going to lease, or they're going to occupy about 73,000 square feet, which would leave 20,000 square feet left over for a future unknown tenant at this point in time. The expected start date is going to be fall of this year, and then completing in spring of 2021. Some of the operations of Festival Foods, basically overall principal use being a grocery store, but they do offer customers the opportunity to stay in place a little bit longer with coffee shops, deli, bakeries, meat, seafood, catering, wines and spirits. They have one of the unique features, I think, of Festival is that they have a community brat barn, which we'll show in a second here in some of the renderings. They can lease that out to community groups and so on for their events, for their fundraising events. So they're helping people and community groups in the area fundraise for their organizations. They also feature seasonal plant and pumpkin sales. They have click and go ordering online. The hours of operation from 5 a.m. to midnight. 75 full-time employees and 175 part-time employees. Just the photo rendering of existing and the proposed. That Brat Barn community event window is here, and they are planning to have some outdoor seating here for the various events that they throw or people want to use throughout the year. The future tenant space is down here on this south end of the property. So there are considerable updates proposed in terms of building and site improvements. The existing site configuration is really going to stay the same, the building's location and the parking lot's location. They are proposing to repave the parking lot, add new landscaping, and then there's also significant exterior architectural feature updates, which we'll get into a little bit. Within the parking lot, new parking lot lighting featuring LED cutoff fixtures to keep the light on site, not splaying beyond property limits. They currently have, as a site is proposed, they have 417 parking stalls. The zoning ordinance requirement is 311. With some of the Planning Commission's recommendations, there are going to be some additional landscape areas that we're working with Festival on, especially in terms of pedestrian access and through the parking lot to the public right-of-way along Greenfield Avenue and to that other outlot along Greenfield Avenue. So we've done that before. Plan Commission's recommended that before on a couple of projects that we've got shown here. The Pick and Save on Highway 100 in Cleveland with pedestrian lighting and accessibility from the outlots along Highway 100 up to the storefront of Kohl's and Pick and Save. And then also at the Pick and Save on 67th and National, where with the gas station that they installed along the frontage of National, some site improvements were approved by the council through that parking lot. Again, just connecting the neighborhood within the retirement community on 70th and Greenfield to the grocery store for a little bit ease of access, and you're not competing so much with traffic, and it's a safety measure and as well as an aesthetic measure for large expanses of asphalt and parking areas. The architectural plan is a complete makeover. I mean, the form is still there, but they're going to be adding some additional festival attributes to the building, as you can see, as well as some aluminum storefront siding, new windows, fresh coat of paint in a gray tone versus the existing brown colors, metal panels, and bracketed awnings overhanging some of the promenade along the storefront of the building. If you've ever been to a festival before, the closest comparable in our neck of the woods is going to be the Hales Corners location on is it Grange and Highway 100 or Edgerton. And then just some other looks around the building. This is the north elevation facing Greenfield Avenue. Again, they're wrapping the architecture around from the east side of the building to the north side of the building, which would be highly visible. And on the south end, which faces the self-storage business, and on the east, or I'm sorry, the west, which faces the some utility wires and Milwaukee plate glass, those sides of the building will be addressed with some freshening up of just some general building repairs and some paint. So the Planning Commission has recommended approval at the August 26th meeting. One communication we did actually receive from an abutting property owner, which I believe is a self-storage, is just more or less a notice that there's been some illegal dumping on the festival site, on the back end of it, on the very south end, between the self-storage business and the grocery store, for being vacant for probably roughly 3+ years. That type of thing does happen, and will be cleaned up by festival. Also, on the lot does have an access from Lapham Street as well as Greenfield, and there is an easement that runs through to access the festival site. That easement's on another property. It's on the self-storage property, but as a part of that easement is that the festival or the festival property owner needs to maintain that easement. So that's just something between those two property owners that they're going to have to work out. That's all I have. If there are any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Thank you. Any questions from the members of the Common Council?
Mr. Mayor, this is
Alderperson
more of a
Grisham.
statement rather than a question. I wanted to thank the Planning Commission for putting forth the work to get a viable tenant in this space. I can tell you that the residents of D3 specifically are very happy. We finally will be seeing some development here and get back on the tax roll. So just wanted to thank you.
Thank you for that. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments from the council?
Mayor Devine,
Alderperson Ranky.
previously, Steve, there were, the businesses there had the gas station. Do they anticipate in the future having a gas station there again?
That's a good question, Alderman. It's possible, but right now they don't know. It's to be determined at this point. It could be a small cafe. It could be a gas station. It is zoned commercial, so it would allow for a small restaurant or a gas station, a convenience store of that sort. But I think
see.
as Festival gets its store open, I think we're going to learn more about what that site could become.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments from the Common Council? Seeing none, are there any comments or questions on public hearing number 3 from our audience this evening? Okay, seeing none, we will close public hearing number 3 and we'll move on to item E on our agendas, which is citizen participation. We can receive information from members of the public during this 30-minute period. Each speaker must announce their name and address, sign in at the podium, and limit their comments to one statement of no more than 5 minutes. We cannot take action on these topics, nor can we discuss due to them not being properly noticed under open meetings laws. So you get to talk at us and we nod and smile. Does anybody?
Can't tell if we're smiling though.
Yeah, that's true. You can't tell if we're smiling.
Smile with your eyes.
Yeah.
Smile with your eyes.
Does anybody wish to address the council under citizen participation this evening? And just a reminder to sign in and please give us your name and address.
My name is David Kay, 12038 West Rainbow Avenue. Signing in indecipherably. All right, members of the council, I would like to thank you for this opportunity to speak to you today about the proposed ban on conversion therapy. As I said, my name is David Kay, and I am a bisexual. I was born in 1982 and did not feel safe coming out as bi until April 6th, 2017, when I was 35 years old. Now, this is me coming from a family of incredibly loving and understanding people. However, I looked around at the world at large and saw hate and violence, and it made me hide myself away. And now, despite great strides, there is still hatred and fear of those of us that are seen as different. Even the most casual, unintended comments from loved ones can cause long-lasting harm among LGBTQ+ youth. Imagine what intentional comments, interventions against who they are, and the abuse that is conversion therapy can do to these young people. LGBTQ youth currently make up 40% of all homeless youth in America, according to the Trevor Project. This rejection by their families leaves almost 60% of those youth to attempt suicide at least once. Now, I would like to thank the council for passing the resolution opposing conversion therapy at last month's meeting. That is a powerful statement, but it is not enough, and it is time to take the next step. We need all practitioners of conversion therapy to know that they will never be welcome in the city of West Allis. We will be asserting our moral authority and declaring that no one can abuse our children this way. We will stand in their path, and with one voice, we will say no. You do not now, you do not ever hurt our children. Now, 20 states in this country, as well as Washington, D.C. and Puerto Rico, have laws or regulations protecting children from this practice. And this is a bipartisan issue. 12 of those states are under Democratic governors, 8 are under Republican governors. This is not a political issue. This is a moral issue. Conversion therapy is used to, quote unquote, fix members of the LGBTQ+ community. Not only does it not work, but it's not needed. I am not a mistake. Friends of mine like Jessica over here are not a mistake. We are caring people that want to help the world, even those that disagree with everything we believe and everything we are. Now, for the misguided parents or therapists and others who believe that this process is needed or helpful, I always keep them in my thoughts. And I pray that they will see there is nothing wrong with those of us in the LGBTQ community. And I hope that their hearts will be saved from hate and fear and instead filled with love and compassion. I personally know people that have been through conversion therapy, and it has scarred them for life. There has been an inability to be in romantic relationships, or often even same-gendered friendships, without overwhelming feelings of guilt, anger, or grief. It has led to drugs, it has led to alcoholism, it has led to friends of mine attempting to take their own lives. And we have a moral duty to ensure that no one is put on this path again. Now, some of you may honestly not know that much about the LGBTQ+ community, and that's okay. It's a chance to reach out, to learn, and to realize that we all, regardless of orientation, are striving to live our best lives. We want love, we want friends, and we want a community we can truly be a part of. If any community members do want to speak and learn more about this beautiful and diverse community, Alderwoman Grisham has my phone number. Feel free to reach out at any time. I will sit down with you with masks and social distancing and talk to you as long as you want. Understanding is the first step, and it's the one that I would be happy to take with absolutely any of you. I'd like to thank you all for your time and kind attention, and I urge you to protect our children, all of our children, and to vote yes on the conversion therapy ban.
Thank you very much for your comments. Does anybody else wish to address the council under citizen participation this evening?
Okay, good evening. I'm Jessica Katzenmeyer. I think most people know who I am by now. 7139 West Greenfield Avenue, just right down the street. And I know I've spoken on this many times before in favor of the conversion therapy ban, and I just really wanted to publicly thank Alder Tenario, Alder Grisham, Alder Keene for your leadership on this issue as we are working through this process. So that's just my main reason why for coming up here tonight. So thank you.
Thank you. Does anybody else wish to address the council under citizen participation this evening?
Mayor Devine, just real quickly before the next speaker, I'd like to point out our community's support for the LGBTQ+ community, that we have a Rainbow Avenue. Thanks for laughing. But yeah, you live on it. That's right. That's why I thought about that.
Thank you, Alderman.
Perfect.
Are there any other members of the audience that wish to address the council under citizen participation?
Good evening. Thank you to the Common Council and Mayor for the opportunity to address the council. My name is Shelley Gregory. I work at an organization headquartered in Milwaukee called Forge. I provide direct support to transgender and other LGBTQ individuals who live in Wisconsin, in the greater Milwaukee area, and certainly including West Allis. I was here last month and am here again at the invitation of Jessica Katzenmeier, also my friend, to be here to offer myself and whatever I can possibly provide the council in terms of information about conversion therapy. There's very little that I can say following Mr. Kay's very heartfelt comments, but I would also like to thank the council very much for your really serious consideration of this issue, and thank Alder Tenorio, Alder Grisham, and Alder Keene again for your leadership on this issue. And I'd just like to say that, I'm here to provide technical assistance or any support the council or the city or the health department may need in the future. Many of you know how to get in touch with me, assuming things go forward and you have a ban that needs to be implemented. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Does anybody else wish to address the council under citizen participation this evening?
Hello again. My name is Austin Keeler. I reside at 805 Lois Avenue, Brookfield, Wisconsin. I'm here today because conversion therapy is an evil practice, and you all have an opportunity today to end that practice and prevent it from happening in the city of West Allis. You might remember me, but I started an organization called People Against Conversion Therapy because I've met friends and have loved ones who have gone through conversion therapy, and I've seen the harm that it causes. I myself grew up gay, not really knowing what that meant or what that was, or having any positive reinforcement of what that was from society or the media, and that was really hurtful. I have struggled with depression and anxiety. Most of it has stemmed from still having a lot of anguish about my sexual identity, and I didn't go through conversion therapy. Conversion therapy, you've already heard from a lot of other people and other days, so I won't go into it, but it causes severe harm to the people who undergo it. And not only that, not only do you have that opportunity today to end that and prevent it from happening in West Allis, you have an opportunity to send the LGBTQ plus youth of West Allis a message that the city supports them, that this council supports them and values them, and that their identities are valid, and that there's nothing wrong with them. And I can tell you, as someone who grew up without knowing that, without having any of that positive information about who I was, that is a huge statement, and truly I can't over exaggerate how important that could be to someone who's struggling with their identity, with who they are. So I just want to thank you all for your time, especially Alder Tenorio for introducing this, to Alders Grisham and Keene for their support and helping us figure out the final details, and just really urge you to take this opportunity you have today to prevent this harm and to stand with LGBTQ youth in West Allis and show them that they are valid and that they are loved. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Does anybody else in the audience wish to address the council under citizen participation this evening? Okay, seeing none, we will close citizen participation. And we will move on to item F. Our standing committees will be meeting during recess. Those room numbers are listed on the top of page 2 on your agendas. Item G is the mayor's report. I just have one thing. I wanted to just mention and offer our public condolences to the passing of Sister Mary Ellen Paulson, who a lot of you probably know. She lived in West Dallas for quite a while. I don't know exactly how many years, but she moved down to Sienna Center in Racine in 2017, and she worked at our polls. She was the president of our library board for many years. She was a huge advocate for libraries in the area, and she always called them the university, the poor people's university. And she always fought for more funding. She always fought for more hours, more books. Just an amazing woman. She passed away at the age of 92, and she had more energy than I've ever had in my life when she was in her late 80s, and just was a very influential, positive person. She really lived with a set of values that don't get considered enough today, and that is just about service and not about self. And I know that's a popular quote by the Rotary Club, but this is very fitting today. So I just want to offer public condolences for her family, and she's a big loss for our world. Thank you. That concludes the mayor's report. Do we have any reports from the alderpersons?
Mayor Devine?
Alderperson Grisham.
I just wanted to make mention of our Artscape program, as many people are starting to see the unveiling of our beautiful murals within the city. I wanted to give a special acknowledgement to a D3 resident, Dan Hero, for his work that he just did on one of our buildings at 75th and Greenfield. I'm really excited to see this program unveiling. I think we have, if I stand correct, 3 more murals that were going to be unveiled, but you get a chance to stop down into that area, take a look at Dan's work, and he's a proud resident of District 3. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other alderpersons' reports?
Mayor Devine,
Alderman Lysick.
I move for approval of the minutes of the Common Council meeting of August 4th, 2020.
Second.
There is a motion with a second by Alderperson Reinke. Were there any changes to the minutes? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? The minutes are approved. Moving on to item J, I will ask for a motion to place item 5 on file and refer items 6, 7, 8, and 9 to our city attorney.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item K, we have no standing committee reports this evening.
Mayor Devine,
Alderman Lysick.
I move that we stand in recess until conclusion of the committee meetings.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We are in recess.
worked pretty well.
Yeah.
And the Administration and Finance Committee will come to order, and we have 4 members present with 1 member who's excused. Our first item is a joint referral with the Public Works Committee. That's item 10, a communication from the Director of Public Works to extend temporary appointment of Brett Wollenzine to the position of Fleet Services Superintendent.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion from Alderman Lysick and a second from Alderman Tenorio. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Item 11 is an ordinance to amend the City of West Dallas salary schedule relating to the creation of the position of tradesperson carpenter.
So move.
Second.
And we have a motion from Alderman Lysick, second from Alderperson Keene. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Item 12, a resolution authorizing the continuation of Humana Medicare Advantage Plan for Medicare eligible retirees from January 1, 2021 through December 31, 2021.
Motion approved.
Second.
We have a motion from Alderperson Keene and a second from Alderman Lysick. Any discussion on this?
Have the, Mr. Chair,
Yes.
have the rates been set yet?
For these rates, yes, we have a decrease of rates from $4.95 a month to $4.41 a month.
Super.
Yes.
Great.
So they went down, which is unheard of.
Yes.
Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Item 13 is a resolution to consider the purchase of 3 kiosks in the service agreement to support the operations of West Dallas City Hall Customer Service Center from DynaTouch Interactive Technologies in an amount not to exceed $96,820.
Move for approval.
Second.
A motion from Alderman Lysick, second from Alderman Tenorio. Any discussion? And Tony Workachowski from IT sent us all a nice email with pictures and showing us what this is, so we all know what's going on here. I think this will be helpful, especially with the new setup that we have in our entry area. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. And item 14, a resolution to consider amending the Community Development Block Grant CV Program Rental and Mortgage Assistant Program income limits. I think Mr. Schloss, you need to tell us about this, please.
Thank you, Alderman Haas, and members of the council. This adjustment to the CDBG CV program is relative to when we adopted the budget. We said that we would go for 30% on the county median income for rent assistance and mortgage assistance. Since then, the state then released programs that were at 80% of county median income. And I'm recommending that we go to the same level so we can utilize our programs. Right now, we have programs available, but we haven't had anybody apply for them.
Move for
And I think if
approval.
we went to these income limits, we would be.
Second.
Yeah.
We got a motion and a second.
Thank you.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? The ayes have it. Item 15 is a communication from the Health Commissioner regarding a request to fill the Women, Infants, and Children's Program breastfeeding peer counselor position.
Move for approval.
A motion from Alderman Lysick
Second.
and a second from Alderperson Keene. Bob's all ready to talk, but I think we know what that title is and what's going on, so.
Pretty
Thank you, Bob.
self-explanatory.
Self-explanatory, yes. Okay, any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Item 16, another communication from the Health Commissioner regarding the request to fill, and I should take that back. We always place on file communications, and so we approved it. We'll approve and place on file will be the understanding if there's no objection from anyone on the committee. And so item 16, communication from the Health Commissioner regarding request to fill 2 vacant WIC program positions for community health nutritionists.
I have a question regarding that. Just regarding why there's 2, is it just based on the need of it? Do they travel? Is that why it's kind of split up? Are these 2 full-time positions?
2 full-time positions, grant funded, and so position, actually got a promotion into the WIC director position.
Nice.
Months ago, that remained vacant, and then another actually just moved on, took another position
Okay.
recently.
Motion to approve.
Approve and place on file?
Yes.
Second.
Thank you. And we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. And item 17, a communication from the Health Commissioner regarding a request to fill the Deputy Registrar position.
Move for approval
And place on file.
and place on file.
Second.
Yes.
Thank you. A motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. 18, a communication from the Director of Public Works to approve an exception to the hiring freeze and grant permission to fill a vacant crew member position
Move for approval
and place on file.
and place on file.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any
Yep.
discussion? And I'll add, yeah, we have got lots of open positions at Public Works anyhow as it is, which I think we're aware of, and so I certainly don't have any trouble filling that one,
Especially with winter coming.
especially with winter coming.
Yep.
Item 19, a communication from the Director of Public Works to create a utility accountant position in the Water Division funded by 2 vacant maintenance repairer positions.
Move for approval
Approve and place on file.
and place on file.
Second.
Thank you. And we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. And item 20, communication from the Director of BINS for filling a vacant Neighborhood Services Inspector position.
Motion to approve and place on file.
Thank you.
All right.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. And 21, communication from municipal judge regarding the request to fill the municipal court clerk 2 position.
Move for approval and place on file.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Item 22, a communication from the library director regarding the request to fill the librarian full-time position.
Motion to approve.
And place on
Place
file.
on file.
Thank you.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. And then 23, a communication from the library director regarding a request to fill the circulation services representative part-time position.
Move for approval, place on file.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? The ayes have it. Can I have a motion to place number 24 on file?
So move.
So moved. Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? The ayes have it. And then we have a previous matter under, for consideration, that's item 25. That's the resolution to consider a sole source professional service contract with Tracy Cross and Associates in the amount of $26,500 for a market study on the West Dallas housing market.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
No, I will say, last time we did have the meeting with Alderman Weigel, just in his absence, so I just want to make everyone aware. We both felt good after leaving that meeting, not speaking for him, but all the questions and reservations that we somewhat had were answered within that meeting.
Very good. All right. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? The ayes have it. Can I have a motion to adjourn administration and finance?
So move.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? All right, we're adjourned. Thank you, everybody. Now I have to put my mask back on.
Safety and Development meeting will come to order. All members are present except Alderman Weigel, who is excused. First item on the agenda is item 33. It's an ordinance to establish parking restrictions on the south side of Greenfield Avenue from 60th to 120 feet east of 60th Street.
I move approval.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
I
I can talk about this. So there's a number of complaints from the community. Greenfield can get pretty busy going east and west, and whenever there's a car parked there or a food truck parked there, it makes it pretty difficult to enter Greenfield. So we just wanted to put parking restrictions there for public safety.
So is that right by the gas station there?
That's right on 60th, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Item 34 is an ordinance to require dogs to be leashed while on public property.
I would like to make a motion to move to amend, speaking with Kale, that by adding the following to the end of the paragraph, that this provision does not apply to any property officially declared to be a dog park.
Thank you.
I withdraw my motion for approval, but it wasn't recognized, so it doesn't matter.
Is there a second to the amendment?
I second the amendment.
All in favor of the amendment, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The amendment passes. Is there a motion to pass the ordinance as amended?
So moved. Move for approval.
Been moved by
Second.
Alderman Tenorio, seconded by Alderman Keene. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Then we have items 35 through 42 on the agenda, which are all very old communications,
Move to place them all on file.
which are here just for house cleaning purposes, to
Oh,
place on
okay.
file, clear out the committee folder.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Item 43 on your agenda is a resolution relative to determine of an application for special use for B&E Kitchen at 5901 West Beloit Road. It's what we had the hearing on this evening.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Item 44 is a resolution relative to determination of application for special use for West Dallas Masonic Lodge at 11037 West Oklahoma.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Second.
Been moved and seconded by Alderman Haas. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Then we have a resolution relative to determination of an application for special use for Festival Foods at 11111 West Greenfield Avenue.
Motion to approve
Second.
10 times
Been
over.
moved by Alderman Keene, seconded by Tenorio. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Is there there's nothing else to come before the committee? Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to
Motion
adjourn.
to adjourn.
Second.
Been moved by Alderman Tenorio, seconded by Alderperson Keene. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Yeah, that's how committees should run.
Good evening. We will call the Common Council back to order. I will ask our clerk to call the roll.
Alderperson Reinke.
Here.
Rote.
Here.
Stefanski.
Here.
Tenorio.
Here.
Vitale.
Here.
Grisham.
Here.
Haas.
Here.
Keen.
Here.
Lysick.
Here.
9 present, 1 excused.
We have a quorum. Our first committee coming up is the Administration and Finance Committee. I'll ask the clerk to read out that report.
The Administration and Finance Committee recommended passage of item 11, recommended passage of item 10, adoption of items 11 through 14, approval and placement of on file of items 19 through 23 and 25, and then place on file item number 24.
And then 15,
15 and
16,
16.
17, and 18, we also approved and placed on
Right.
file. You had
Sorry.
said 19, but I think you
Yeah.
meant to
Oh,
say
yeah, I
15.
meant 15, sorry.
And Mayor Devine, I move for approval of the committee report.
Thank you, Alderman Haas. Is there any discussion on the committee report? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderperson Reinke.
Aye.
Rote.
Aye.
Stefanski.
Aye.
Tenorio. Vitale.
Aye.
Grisham.
Aye.
Haas.
Aye.
Keen.
Aye.
Lysick.
Aye.
9 in favor, 0 opposed.
Motion carries. Next up, we have Public Works Committee. I'll ask the clerk to read out that report.
The Public Works Committee recommended approval of item number 10, and then adoption of items 26 through 31, and approval of item number 32.
I move for approval in accordance of the committee report.
Thank you, Alderman Rote. Is there any discussion on Public Works Committee? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderperson Reinke.
Aye.
Rote.
Aye.
Stefanski.
Aye.
Tenorio.
Aye.
Vitale.
Aye.
Grisham.
Aye.
Haas.
Aye.
Keen. Aye. Lysick.
Aye.
9 in favor, 0 opposed.
Motion carries. And next up, we have the Safety and Development Committee. I will ask the clerk to read out that report.
The Safety and Development Committee recommended passage of items number 33 and 34 as amended. Items 35 through 42 were recommended to be placed on file, and items 43 through 45 were recommended for adoption.
I move for approval of the committee report.
Thank you, Alderman Lysick. Is there any discussion on the report from the Safety and Development Committee? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderperson Reinke.
Aye.
Rote.
Aye.
Stefanski.
Aye.
Tenorio.
Aye.
Vitale.
Aye.
Grisham.
Aye.
Haas.
Aye.
Keen.
Aye.
Lysick.
Aye.
9 in favor, 0 opposed.
Motion carries. And next up, we have the License and Health Committee, which I will ask the clerk to read out. that
Mayor
report.
Devine, or Attorney Decker, what do I make the motion on this?
Alderman Tenorio.
Alderman Sawyer, I'm assuming you're in regards to number 49.
That's correct.
The motion could be made any time, either before or after the remainder of the report from this committee, so it's at your discretion when you'd like to make the motion.
I can make that motion right now then.
Very good. So you're, based on the discussion we had before, you basically are saying, how would you want to bring this item before the council for discussion? What happened at committee was a motion to postpone indefinitely was adopted by the committee, essentially meaning that it's permanently pending in the committee. A pending item can be brought back before the council using a motion to discharge the committee. So if you wish to make a motion to discharge the committee related to item 49, if there's a second to that motion and then a majority vote to approve that motion, by adopting it, that would essentially bring that item back before the council with essentially a blank slate. The topic would come before, so someone would then have to make an affirmative motion to adopt something regarding that topic for anything to happen.
I make a motion to discharge item 49 from License and Health Committee.
Second.
We have a motion with a second by Alderman Haas. Now, Attorney Decker, I'm going to lean on you. I believe Should we vote on that now and then take up the balance of the committee afterwards?
Yes, there can be discussion on a motion to discharge if anyone wishes. Otherwise, there'd be a vote then, and a majority vote would then immediately bring that issue back before the council.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor?
Alderman Rote.
So an aye vote means bring it back, a no vote means terminate it.
Correct. An aye vote would mean the council can then discuss it. If you vote no, it means the council will not be discussing this item on the council floor tonight.
Okay. Thank you. So, this is new to me, believe it or not.
I think it's new to everybody.
Finally get to use all that parliamentarian stuff I've been learning.
Yes, right. So, should we vote now, or is that even up for discussion?
Yeah.
You can open up for discussion on the motion to discharge the committee. It's basically, the discussion should focus on, is it worth the council's time to hear this matter and discharge the committee from its duties?
Okay, thank you. Is there any discussion then on that motion to discharge? Is everybody clear now on what is in front of us?
So a motion for yes is just going to bring this topic to the council for potential action. A vote of no would make sure that item does not come before the council tonight.
Okay, so a yes vote will bring this in front of us for discussion, and a no vote will not this evening. Thank you. Okay, if there is no discussion, I'm going to ask the clerk to call the roll.
Alderperson Ranke.
Aye.
Rote.
No.
Stefanski.
No.
Tenorio.
Aye.
Vitale.
No.
Grisham.
Aye.
Haas.
Aye.
Keen.
Aye.
Lysick.
Aye.
6 in favor, 3 opposed.
Okay, motion carries, so now it is in front of us.
So at this point in time, item 49 remains before the council with no motion or no approval or recommendation for the council's consideration. It would take someone making a new motion to approve.
I make a motion to approve.
And I'm taking the liberty of assuming the motion that you had made before would be the same one you make now?
Yes.
So for the council's benefit, there were, I think, 4 alderpersons who were not in the room, or were they in the room when that was made? I just want to make sure that
few were.
everyone understands.
Oh, were.
It was the item that was on the agenda before, plus a couple amendments to it.
Yep, we have
Does
the
everyone have the
amendments.
amended version?
Yes.
If anyone needs a readout of the amended version, let me know, otherwise I'll leave it at that.
So we have a motion, I second it.
Okay, was there a second?
Yeah.
Yeah, Alderperson Grisham already seconded.
No, I
No,
made the
she did the motion.
No, she
Oh,
made
I'm
the
sorry.
motion.
Haas, second.
Okay, so the motion by Alderperson Grisham, the second by Alderman Haas. Okay, any discussion on that?
Mr. Chair, or Mr. Mayor.
Alderman Stefanski.
As I said down in the meeting earlier, the $5,000 forfeiture is nothing when it comes to abusing a child. And if we vote on something like this to put a $5,000 fee on any physical harm and emotional harm of a child, that to me is despicable. I brought it up that we should put it at $1 million at minimum. We can't do that because it can't be tried in municipal court. So this is not a municipal issue anymore.
Mr. Mayor,
Alderperson Grisham?
what's despicable, in my opinion, is that we do nothing. So I appreciate you coming forward and speaking passionately about child abuse, but as it was really eloquently explained by Attorney Decker, there's a clear difference of doing nothing and having a $5,000 forfeiture. So you know where I stand. I'm in full support of this ordinance, and I'm very disappointed as to what happened, but I'm glad that it's back on the floor.
Mr. Mayor?
Thank you, Alderperson Grisham, Alderperson Stefanski.
I'm going to bring up, like I did in the committee, Mr. Kay spoke out and he said this is abuse against a child. The state has laws against abuse against a child. This is not something that we should be taking up here in a municipal facility. We already did show support by the resolution that we did at the last Common Council meeting. This is gonna do nothing but slap somebody on the hand if they're doing it. The fine on it is disgraceful. That's just my opinion on it.
Is there any other discussion?
Mayor Devine,
Alderman Tenorio.
So the state government does not have any explicit laws banning conversion therapy. And the state government refuses to hold hearings on this issue. And as I said during the committee, that's why I think it's really important that local government, that municipalities take action on this issue. And I truly believe that doing a $5,000 forfeiture is better than doing nothing on this issue. I think it's really important that we tell the youth of West Dallas, that the LGBTQIA plus youth of West Dallas, that you are welcome here, you're safe here. If this is going on in our city, you can report it to the city and there will be consequences. Because as of today, correct me if I'm wrong, Attorney Decker, but I don't think there are any protections for LGBTQ youth against conversion therapy, not at the federal level, not at the state level, and not at the city level here in West Dallas. So that's why I think it's really important that we pass this ban. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor?
Thank you, Alderman Tenorio.
One more.
Is there any objection to Alderperson Stefanski speaking a third time?
I just want to remind.
Hearing no objection, go ahead, Alderman Stefanski.
Just want to put out, there are laws in this state against child abuse. And this is abuse against kids. So I respect Alderman Tenario's opinion on this, but there are laws against child abuse in this state. And anybody in West Dallas is always welcome and always encouraged to report it. And everybody in this city, to me, is welcome.
Mayor Devine.
Alderman Tenorio.
But those laws don't specifically say conversion therapy. This ordinance specifically says that conversion therapy is not allowed. And I think that's the difference. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion?
Mr. Mayor,
Alderperson Grisham?
may we please go to vote?
If there is no other discussion, I will ask our clerk to read.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to say my last 2 cents.
There must be more
words.
discussion then. Hold on, Alderman Vitale. I'll grant you the floor.
The
Let's
last one.
let's remember how this meeting works here. Go ahead, Alderman Vitale.
Yes. So, I mean, again, you know, I've been repeat myself like a whatever I want to call myself, but what really has been happening here, we don't have really, to me, I mean, we've been, you know, and I use the terminology, wasting some of the things that really, if we would be able to have something on the books statewide, well, then I mean, I'm not like I said, I don't like it if some parents would do this to their own child, really. I mean, I'm totally against that. But the fact stands that where we leading with this, really? I asked many times already, what really the percentage that we have or we had in West Dallas? I mean, and it seemed like nobody really has any records. We have no ideas why we're doing this. There's no records that I can say there's a 1%, which we don't have that. There's no charges any place we can find within our city here that somebody can come in front of me and says, there's a 1% that parents in West Dallas that have been taking their kids for conversion therapy. That's the only problem that I have. I repeat myself like a parakeet. Before, and I know people, families, that they have kids with that kind of a problems, you know? But they're great kids. I have no problem with it. I mean, they're beautiful kids. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. But just, I'm voting for something that I don't really know about it. I have no idea, you know, really, what cases we had in West Dallas. And that's why I'm voting against it, really. That's a part of the reason. Because if somebody would say, we had already 1% in West Dallas, then I say, well, maybe something could be getting like an epidemic. It's going to get worse. Then I will really vote in favor. But at this time, you know, by knowing what's going on, that I have no proofs what's really happening in West Dallas, and then a physical therapist or a physician or a surgeon, they're all state licensee, and we don't have no control over them at all. You have no control over them. You can give them a fine locally, but still they can carry on with their state license. I have a state license. So the city doesn't have no control. The state, before, they used to come and inspecting beauty shops and everything else. But the state, of course, they don't do that anymore because of funding. Don't even do inspections anymore. Within an establishment, the people, they operate their state license with beauty shop or barber shop. There's no such things anymore. So that's why if I had some concrete informations in front of me, 1%, then I will concur with that, really. But when somebody can go to Wauwatosa to another physical therapist or physician to take their child out there, well, that defeats the purpose. Really, in fairness, it defeats the purpose.
Mr. Mayor?
It could be 8. Let me finish, Alderman Sherman. So what purpose we have when we don't have a statewide ruling or laws? To me, I don't have no proofs that somebody really went to a state assembly. We have senators within our state here, within our area. I want to hear from them to tell me, Vince, somebody came in front of me and I says, well, I don't want to look at it. I don't want to see just verbiage. I want to see paper in writing that the person, the state assemblyman says, I don't want to even look at it. I don't want to have no interest in this. Words are cheap. I can say anything. Thank you.
Thank you. Alderperson Keene.
Just to add to that, I think that this is more of a proactive approach than a responsive approach. This is us getting ahead of the curve before it happens. And we're also sending a message, could they go to TOSA? Fine, go to TOSA, just don't bring it here. And that's the message we're sending. Not in our city, not now. If you think about it, don't. If you're doing it, stop. And I think that's what we're trying to move the point of passing an ordinance without having supportive data. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderperson Reinke.
Aye.
Rote.
No.
Stefanski.
No.
Tenorio.
Aye.
Vitale.
No.
Grisham.
Aye.
Haas.
Aye.
Keen.
Aye.
Lysick.
Aye.
6 in favor, 3 opposed, 1 excused.
Motion carries. Now, back to the rest of the license and health agenda. You did read those out, correct?
No, I didn't.
Okay. Seems like it was yesterday.
Got caught up with something else.
The License and Health Committee recommends denial of item number 46 and approval of item number 48. There were no items to be considered for item 47.
Madam Clerk, I move for approval of the recommendations from the License and Health Committee members.
Second.
Oh, we don't need the second
Oh, I'm
anymore?
sorry.
That's okay. We have a motion to approve by the committee chair, Alderman Vitale. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries. And next up, I will ask our clerk to read out the report from the advisory committee.
The advisory committee recommends passage of item number 50 and approval of items 51 and 52.
Alderperson Ranky, would you like to move approval of those?
Mayor Devine, I move approval of the committee report.
Thank you. Any discussion on the advisory committee? Hearing none. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderperson Reinke.
Aye.
Rote.
Aye.
Stefanski.
Aye.
Tenorio.
Aye.
Vitale.
Aye.
Grisham.
Aye.
Haas.
Aye.
Keen.
Aye.
Lysick.
Aye.
9 in favor, 0 opposed, 1 excused.
Motion carries.
Mayor Devine,
Alderman Lysick.
I move that we adjourn until our next regularly scheduled meeting, Tuesday, September 15th at 7 p.m.
Second.
There's a motion with a second by Alderperson Ranky, because I think she's the only one that didn't say anything. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.